How's it going, guys? My name is Kareem, and for this screencast, I'm just going to be showing you guys my fruit application that I got created, and just a little bit of the code and the functionality behind it, and what exactly I got going on. So, as you can see right here, um, it's created a PHP file named fruits.php, and it was basically stuck in some HTML, and I also linked in some CSS to kind of make things a lot tidier, a lot neater, but basically this is it. This is basically what you see right here. Create fruit application gives you the options to put in the fruit name, the fruit color, and then add it to the list. So literally you can put in here, you type in apple, you have the color for the apple red, you hit add fruit, and then boom. It gives it replies the fruit ID, gives you the name, gives you the apple, and also has a little delete me option. You got some hover effects going on these buttons right here. Once again, just for more visual aesthetics. Make it a little nice for you guys. Basically, yeah, that's pretty much what it does. It just kind of updates this table at the bottom with all the fruits that you input inside of their things. While we also have a few restrictions as well. Say, for example, if you try to hit add fruit without these fields being populated, you get the first one. It says please fill out this field. Say, for example, if you did fill out this field and you still left this one blank, you hit add fruit, it tells you please fill out that field. Great, purple, we have fruit, boom. Let's go ahead and process that little information. But let's go ahead and take a look at the code real quick. So let's slide over this way. Alright, first things first is my proofs.php file. So I basically did PHP setup where I set up the MySQL setup where I got the username, password, database handler, which is new PDO, PHP, document object. So literally this portion of the code was copied from the actual episode online itself. But I did have to do a little bit of tweaking to try to get everything to work properly. I did have an issue at first. It took me a few hours to sort everything through, but got everything up and running. This is basically just an if conditional, just letting you know that this is basically looking for the post method. If the server received the post method, grab the name, the color, and pretty much find the parameters and execute it. So it's basically inserting all these attributes into the fruits table in the database. Um, here, this is where I start my HTML. I basically have just a few divs on here, just kind of group everybody together. H1 is my application right here. This right here is where my image is located. I just basically put a little image on there. This is my form. So, like I said, it's action fruit.php, so it actually posts to itself. So it's kind of like an infinite loop kind of deal. I just give it a class, is what I kind of used to do with my styling. And yeah, that's pretty much it for that one. Right here, I just put I put in a table. So this is what's going to be receiving the values, then the user input. These are just the headers for the table itself. The actual details are of the table itself. Going to down here at the bottom. So basically, what I'm basically doing right here in this PHP section is basically going into the database. I'm going to select the ID, the fruit name, and the fruit color from the fruits table itself, and I'm going to execute them. So I'm going to use this function right here, the fetch all function, to catch all the attributes and store all that into the variable result. Then I'm going to loop the result, and then for each attribute, I'm going to basically echo it out into a table detail. So it's basically echoing out the table. The row ID. Well, I got it, result as row. But it's basically echoing out the ID of the fruit ID. You got fruit name, and then you got the fruit color. And then this section right here is just where I inputted my anchor tag to tack on to the delete me function. So basically what's happening with the anchor tag is I got the href, basically going over to delete fruit.php, and what I'm basically doing is I'm attaching I'm using this ID right here. I'm using basically the ID that we grabbed from the for loop itself. So I'm using the ID to concatenate it with the URL itself. So basically, whenever you hit the delete button, what it's going to do is going to search for the ID that you hit delete on, and then it's going to remove that item off of the table by the ID itself. So that's pretty much the boost.php. This side, yeah, this is my CSS. So this is basically the CSS file that I kind of linked right here at the top, up in the head. So it's basically the style in the body. I got the main tag H1. It's for my image. It's for the form, the labels, the input, the submit button. I got some action going on. This is where I do my hovering for on submit on the hover. This is my general style for the table. General style for the table head. Row, the table detail, the anchors, and once again the anchor hover right here. So basically, whenever you hover over the anchor buttons, it gives you a different color option. Just for visual aesthetics, once again. If you slide over this way, this is the delete fruit.php. So it's basically setting up the database handler the same exact way that we did it previously on the fruits.php, and we're basically setting this fruit ID. Basically using the get method this time to get the ID. So we're going to go into the handler, we're going to go into the table database, and we're going to delete from fruits where the ID is equal to fruit ID right here, and they actually have the fruit ID colon, and then we find the parameter fruit ID, same thing right here, we bind it to this variable, which variable is actually getting an ID. So we're going to grab the ID. We're going to delete from fruits where the ID itself is was received from the user by the get method. I'm going to execute the statement. After the execute the statement, the header location fruits.php, as you can see right here in the comments, is just basically saying redirecting you back to the fruit page, and then we have the die function, which pretty much ends the script on the delete fruit.php itself. Over here on this side is my SQL Pro. So it's basically where where you're going to be able to actually see the database itself being populated and items itself being deleted as well. So if you slide back over to the main page itself, as you can see right here, we recently added apple, and we recently added grape as well. Red for apple, purple for grape, with the ID of 2627. So if you go back over to the database on this side and you hit this little refresh button right here, boom, there's your database now populated with apple, red, grape, purple, and I mean it works lovely. Over in this query side, I actually use my SQL Pro. Sorry, I actually use SQL Pro to create my table in the database and so on and so forth. In the query section, you can still see I have some of the stuff I did have an issue initially creating the database title SSL. It seems like the 3 letters SSL has already been predefined within SQL Pro itself, within their system. So I have to do a little tweaking right there, but basically got it on there. So basically, when you look at the fruits contents once again, apple, grape. Scroll back over here on this side. If you hit delete me on grape, for example, boom, code processes, everything runs. Delete me, it's now gone from here. The grape, and you refresh your database on this side, and then boom, it's actually done. And the database will pretty much take almost any information. Fruit name. Like say for example, if I would just put my first name, fruit color, last name Beezer for the fruit color, and I hit add fruit, it's going to add me in there. This is basically just taking whatever input that you put in these fields and just adding it to the database itself. And then if you slide over here to the database where we got apple red, and we hit refresh real quick, there you go. So you got my first name, my last name added to the database. And that's pretty much it for my my food application at the moment. Thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have a good day.